folks, we're going to get together with Scott Larsen here today. I got him on the phone, and he's busy running just like everybody. We ended up with a good rain day, so I'm stuck in the house here, and I figured, you know what, great time to do a radio show. So, Scott, I know you've been using those razor baits we got from Jim. Beautiful, razorbaits.com. Real beefy, beautiful baits. I smelled them coming from the mailbox out. Real garlicky. How you making out with them, bud?
Yeah, I've been testing them out, Frank, and I'm really happy with them. It's a different bait because it's loaded with garlic, and they're huge baits too, especially fishing in a big bass lake like Okeechobee or anywhere it's got a big bass. Mm-hmm. It's going to produce a big fish, especially the mudslinger. That bait right there really caught my eye. And all these baits, you can fish them different ways. I like using with no weight, but when it's hot, you got to use some weight to get it down. Mm-hmm. But that mudslinger, I got one video out there where if you can see it, it's swimming on top of the water, and that tail action it's making a big wake. And when it's going to get cool and the bass start eating, that's going to be a big, big bass bait.
I like it. As a matter of fact, I noticed how they put that cut right in the middle of it, so the tail action is really exaggerated. It's really nice.
Yeah, it helps it, go to the back and forth. It don't have no restriction, and it's thick enough where it's not going to tear either. Mm-hmm. And that's what I like about that bait too. You get some swim baits, it's kind of thin, and then after a small bass actually break it off, but this won't. And it's kind of nice in a way, because if you can't hang a real big bass at the little bass, it chokes them out. Mm-hmm. That helps it out a lot. So you're trying to get, tore up with the little bass. You want to get that bigger bass on there.
Well, absolutely. I think it's the second thing I noticed about razor baits. The first thing is the scent. The scent it's strong. When the postman brought me the box, he said, "I'll tell you, whatever's in that box has had me hungry since I got in the truck this morning." And it's a nice strong garlic scent, and the baits themselves are fat. They're thick, heavy baits, and they're jelly. They're the gel. They're really soft, but really a very beefy looking bait themselves. Really beautiful.
Yeah, I like them because they're not too soft. They're pretty tough, Mm-hmm. And that garlic, me, I gotta have some kind of scent, and garlic's my favorite for bass.
Hi, I'm Scott Larsen. I'm pro staff with Razor Baits and a lot of other companies, freshwater and saltwater. I test a lot of baits for all kinds of companies, big companies, and see if they work. This bait right here really works good. I'm impressed with them. Everybody's got plastic baits, but this is a different plastic bait. It's loaded with garlic. And you know me, if I need scent with each of my baits. If it don't have scent, it's no good. You gotta have scent on there. He's got the juice, razor juice. It's pure garlic. It's strong. You leave it in your car, it's really strong, guys. That's what I like, and that's what you gotta fish with. He's got so many baits here if you want to catch some big bass. I live in Florida, and you got to use big bass baits. Lake Okeechobee, any bass baits, guys, look at this. It's the Dirty Dog. This is a huge bait. You can fish with this in saltwater too. He's coming out with white. I asked him to make a white for me so I could take it tarpon fishing, snook fishing. And he's got the small version of the Dirty Dog. This is great for bass. It's a finesse bait. You can fish it with a weightless. That's how I fish it. Then he's got the mud bug. You can fish this with a jig. You can swim it. A lot of guys that like swimming jigs. This is a really good bait. You can fish it weedless. Brown pads and all the green stuff. Just work it like a frog. Really good action. Then he's got the cash crawl. Cash crawl is really good. You can fish it with a jig. You can fish it Texas style. And this is a really good imitation of a crawfish. When it lays down, you probably saw in one of my videos, it just hops up and it settles down nicely. When you pop it, it just looks so real. It looks real good. Big bass bait, big tournament winning bass bait right here too. Then he's got the sea worm. Look at this bait. I mean, that's crazy. Big bass. I can't wait for the fall, because I'm telling you, when they're putting on the feed bag, these baits right here is just I'm gonna put in a lot more 10, 12 pounders in the boat. I got a lot of records already just for myself. I got over 22 10 pounders. And it's just fishing ponds, lakes, go where the nastiest stuff you could get. And different baits. You can't throw the same bait all the time and catch, you got to change up your bait, and this is what's going on. You're changing up the bait. He's got a swim bait. This is the freak bait right here, where you want to flip in pads, anything. It's real deep. Texas rig, that's the way I'll fish this. But this is one of them freak monster baits you throw in there for flipping, for the guys that flip. Flipping is a good big bass for catching big bass. This is a real good bait for putting a lot of weight in the boat for tournaments. And I'm happy to see this. This is what really caught my eye. It's a swim bait. It's called Mudslinger. You can fish this Texas. Me, I love top water. I'm going to fish it with a big hook. All these baits, you got to have a big hook with these baits. But look at that swim bait. See the cuts in the end? I mean, there's so much action. When you swim this bait, you'll see in one of my videos where they just clobber this bait. And the garlic is just so strong. But the watermelon red is probably my best. I love watermelon red, the June bug, and he's got other couple colors, but for Florida, that's pretty much my go-to colors. You could get, the June bug's really good. This is probably a black, yeah, it's a black metal flake. That's really good. But guys, check this out, WW Razor Baits, and they're very, very inexpensive. I mean, you could get some sea worms. He's got regular sea worms, and they're 4-inch. I like finesse fishing, and it's so easy. Just use a big hook with this with no weight, or you could put a split shot on the end of it, a little small split shot. You want it to fall, you don't want it to fall fast, you can put it on the Carolina rig. It's up to you. This right here, I ordered this one especially for redfish and trout. I fished a redfish tour, and this is going to be an awesome bait for the redfish tour. And they already catching trout, snook, redfish with this bait. It's gold color, and I'll probably fish it weedless or with a jig head. But probably weedless. Probably get that natural fall. When it falls and just sits there in that water, that's where you get that hit. I like all my baits falling slow. You catch the big bass like that. Well, check Razor Baits out. I'm fixing to go to the lake this evening. Hopefully I get some good video. It's hot. It's 96 degrees down here in Florida. I'll probably end up starting with this flipping bait. And then I'll probably in the evening probably go a little bit higher with a bigger bait like this, floating. And probably this right here, the slam. This will, man, these baits are awesome. It is so strong. He's got the juice. You won't believe it. Don't let the wife kill you, because it's strong. Young anglers, check up on my page, Trophy Fishing on Facebook. I want to see y'all on there with big fish. I want my women anglers out there with big fish. I want everybody to catch big fish. Y'all have a good day. Be safe out there.
People got different, flavors like coffee and, pork, and I like the garlic. For some reason, when I fish in the wintertime and I'm slow fishing, and you feel them like pulling on the plastic, and then they turn around and they eat that bait right away. Now, he's got sea worms out here. You could fish it with a split shot, or you could fish it weedless. Like I love finesse fishing. You get a lot of fish this way when they're not biting. I mean, especially the tournament guys. When you're out there, you want to hurry up and get some weight in the boat. He's got a big mega sea worms, and then he's got several different size sea worms for your finesse fishing. And then he's got the cash crawl. If you're fishing around rocks and all kinds of structure where crawfish is at, you can fish it style or with a jig. You swim around the rocks, you catch a lot of big bass that way. And then he's got the mud bug. You could do the same thing. You fish it with a jig, and you can fish it with Texas rig. Or you can fish it without weight and pull around the green stuff. You'll see in the videos how I fish a lot of these baits.
Well, I saw the picture that you had of the cash craw, and you had a picture of it laying across your hand, and that sucker was big. As a matter of fact, the tail laid off your fingers, off the tip of your fingers, and the claws were actually reaching across to your wrist. And I mean, that is really, we'll have a picture of that up while people are listening to this, but it's really a nice size bait and beautiful. And I'll tell you too, the Dirty Dog, I noticed that he sent you those, I think he's calling them the Mega Dog. I believe it's the 8-inch one. Now that's a big, beautiful bait too. I really love, like I said, again, these are all big, beefy baits, really look good.
Yeah, the Dirty Dog, he's got a one for the bass and, for trout and redfish too. But that's a good finesse bait too. And I've been catching a lot of bass on that one. And then he's got that Mega Dog. That Mega Dog, he's going to make me one in the white. And I want to go snook fishing and tarpon fishing with that one. That's going to be a real good bait on that one. We got to get together and fish with that one.
Yeah, it sounds like actually about a month or so we're going to be coming up on that on snook season again. And that's when the reds start to school again on the flats, another month or so. When these hot days are awful, Scotty. We get these really hot afternoons, and the salt water, the fish, if they're smart, they're hiding. If we're smart, we're hiding.
That's right, man. It's too hot right now.
It's just awful hot. So I think next month the snook and the red during the day anyway, that kind of fishing is going to start going again. But right now the freshwater fishing is just fantastic with all this rain coming down, a lot of oxygen in the water, a lot of bait. So I know you're doing. So I've seen the videos you've been posting, some great videos of razor baits on a lot of bass out there, and you're playing in little ponds all over, just little like community ponds.
Yeah, I'm just messing around the community ponds now. I did one video. I just had a little bit of time, and I was fishing that mega sea worm, and I caught one on that. I'm testing these baits on different type of ways what to do, and I'm going to take that to the lake, the big lake, and I'll probably end up fishing it the Carolina style. I'm waiting for this good rain to come so we could get a lot of fresh water and cool it down some. So to get these bigger fish to eat,
Absolutely. We were talking earlier, me and Scotty, and we were thinking about getting together probably somewhere around the week of the 10th or so, and maybe around the Mayak, a little bit north, a nice freshwater area up there. It's just like you said, it's so beautiful right now with all the rain coming down. These lakes are just, they're peaking out right now. So beautiful fishing. You got to get out there and get into the freshwater fishing in Florida right now. That's for sure.
Yeah, and it's so nice, especially when you got ponds. You'll see on my page and you see on Frank's pictures where I got a lot of bass. I got probably over 22 largemouths over 10 pounds. And a lot of records just in ponds. Everybody's like, you're catching it in the pond. Well, everybody can't just go in there and catch a fish. You got to know what you're doing, and you got to use the right bait. And a lot of kids are enjoying it right now because they've been watching my videos. I see a kid in Tampa one of my captain friends caught a nice 7-pounder watching one of my videos, and he's doing exactly what I'm doing, trying to help everybody out to catch a big fish. And it's pretty cool, you know.
Well, I've learned a lot. I mean, and it really makes a difference. I pay attention. You got to really, you know, when you're working with people that know what they're doing, they can give you some good pointers. I mean, just like the impact lures, you turned me on to that Loxahatchee top water, and you know, really, you know, I followed what you told me, the good advice: slow it down, keep it on the top, work it more like a darting bait than you are walking the dog. And I mean, I just, you know, right after I started doing that, I started catching fish. So those instructional videos, I mean, if you really, folks, if you want to learn how to catch bass, and you'll learn what baits work, you'll learn how to work them. And now Scotty, you know, again, he's playing in some of these smaller ponds and lakes. Even in some of those smaller ponds, he's catching big bass in them. Now, granted, you know, he may get 10 smaller ones and then that one huge one. But he's constantly on bass, so he knows how to work the baits right and how to use the right baits that work.
Yeah, I'm just helping you, trying to get along how you to work these baits. As I go along with new baits, I got to keep on, you know, I'm training myself. What can I do with this bait? It takes me a little bit, but I figure it out, you know, what structure you need to throw it on. And this is just a lot of years experience. Since I was 9 years old, I've been bass fishing with artificial baits and doing my first bait caster, you know.
Absolutely. Hey, that's how you learn, right? Over and over again.
Yeah.
That's the way it works.
Yep, over and over.
Well, let me ask you just a real quick question. I know you're busy and you've got to go. We've got to get going too. But when you're using like the sea worm, like the 10-inch sea worm and stuff, I know they have these worm shots you could use, worm heads and stuff. Would you rather use something like that type of a shot that slides up and down the line, or do you stick with something like a keel hook, something that has you know, the lead on the hook that doesn't move?
You could do with a keel hook, but I just like a regular offset worm hook. And if you want to put a split shot on it, you see, if you're in a hurry and you see that bass on kind of moving up top water, you know, and it's in the pads, I can take that split shot off really quick.
Yep.
And then I can throw in the pads. Because most of these fish, I'm actually sight fishing. When you're dragging that worm on top of the pads, that's what I love to do. It's weightless. Watch the motion. You'll see a bass, he'll V-line to that bait. But that's why, you know, but then if they're not biting in the pads, I can take that split shot off, on, and I could fish around the deeper areas and try to get a different bite like that. That's how I like fishing that. But you got to use huge hooks.
I was going to ask you that. I was just going to ask you that.
You got to use a 6 to 7 aught hook.
Wow.
I mean, if you could get any bigger, it's going to help. But remember, on the different worms, you know, match it so it's going to different fall rate. I like a slow fall rate that makes it look natural. I don't like it diving straight to the bottom really quick unless it's deep, you know.
Yep.
And you're working the bottom.
Now I see the 6-aught now. I'm sorry, Sky, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm actually just looking at these lures, and I want to get this before you have to go. But I see you said you're using the 6-aught hook on like the cash craw and some of these really big worms. Now with the mudslinger, that's a 5-inch mudslinger, because it's got the slit halfway down it. Are you using a smaller hook on that so that you don't interfere with the tail action, or how are you rigging that up?
No, I'm actually using a straight hook with that one, because you want that. To me, I want it exposed because that's a lot of plastic to bust through.
Okay.
You can fish that a different, you know, I love swimming on top of the water. You can slow it down, but I've been fishing it with a Texas rig too. You could take a bullet weight and do the old toothpicks thing and stick it in there and break it off, and it keeps the weight right there by the nose. And then Jim, he says he uses the belly weight. I mean, that's a good way to use it too. I mean, it gives it a different action and everything.
So you're moving it pretty
it
quick then. So you're moving it pretty quick. So you got a hook going right through and out the rubber. So it's kind of like a shad moving through the water, saltwater wise. But mud.
Yes, but you can roll it kind of quick, but it's really, I mean, you can like really slow swim it. And it's got a good action to it. You don't need to really haul butt with it. that's what I like to try to keep it in the strike zone, because a big bass is not going to go far to hit. And if you know he's in there, you better throw in there good till he hits.
Mm-hmm.
20, 25 times. That's how I caught a lot of my big bass. Keep on swimming, aggravating.
Yep.
It's going to get a reaction strike out of that big fish.
Let me ask you this: have you had a chance to use the that freak yet? Because that's a scary bug. If I was in the water and I saw that coming at me, I would freak out.
Yeah, freak out. They probably kill it. Actually, I haven't tried that one out. I've been, going with that mudslinger, really heading on that. That's one of my favorite ones, really. And the sea worm and that and the dirty dog. I mean, them baits right there is only ones I really tested really good. They're all going to work. The cast crawl works. I did miss a big, 8 or 9 pound bass already on the dirty dog, crawling it on the green.
Oh, is that
and
right?
Busted right through the green, and I went for the hook set, and I lost him.
Oh, no.
That's how it is. I caught a lot of little ones, and I saw him every time. I threw on the green stuff. I saw him waking back there in that corner, and I kept on aggravating him, and he finally hit, and I messed it up. You know how it is, man. It's fun, though.
That's why we call it fishing. We don't call it catching, right?
That's right. It was fun. It was so cool, and I'm trying to get the video, and I had it on video, and my arm was in the way. I wanted everybody to see that big fish. Oh man, that was a big fish. I mean,
yep.
I don't know how big he was, really. It was huge.
Well, they're big baits. I mean, those mega dogs, they're beautiful baits. And, like I said, the scent of them is incredible. And I wanted to ask you, now we've used it down here a little bit, the garlic scent. He has the same garlic scent that he uses in the baits over at Razor Baits. He actually has available in that little spray bottle. And we use it on some pond water.
He does have the spray bottle. He's got like a 2 ounce and I think a 6 ounce.
Mm-hmm.
So if you got other plastics or anything, you can spray it on, you spray it on your other plastics or your hard lures. I use scent on my hard lures. So that probably would be the best bet, to spray it on your hard lures to get a scent out there.
Yeah, we tried. As a matter of fact, we sprayed it on your Precious over here and used it in a little freshwater lake over by Chris's, and popped a couple little bass out of the water with it. So yeah, it's a great scent too. Good strong garlic scent, just like the baits. Real strong garlic.
Yeah, I love them. Yeah, and it's a big bass bait. I don't put my name on it, and we don't promote nothing. It's going to be. We want catch some big fish out there.
And it's a good
bait.
It's stuff that works. And, looking at it, anybody that's ever had this bait in their hand, it's really, to look at it's one thing. But when you pick up this cash craw and you squeeze it and go, wow, this is like a thick, meaty bait. And it's still just as pliable, just as soft as, the gel bait that you're looking for. So they're very impressive.
Did you see it swim in the water when I was doing in the video, how it bounces and lays down in the water nicely?
Beautiful. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, I love that action. And you can reel it, and the little claws will swim. You can swim a bait. You can swim that bait on the bottom, and it'll catch fish.
It did. As a matter of fact, I noticed the one I was playing with, as you're pulling it, like you said, through the water, both the legs and the claws both make that kind of wavy, a little turbulence action. So very lifelike looking. Cool. Yeah,
I never saw a bait do like that. It swims really nice, and it's great. It's a big bass bait, especially when it cools down, and in the fall, that's when you're usually going to catch your bigger bass anyway, because they're putting on the feed bag.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I do the fishing, I always catch the skinny fish, but I always miss the spawn. But yeah, you got to get some of these baits when they start cooling down. You're going to get your bigger fish in the fall. You usually do.
They're beautiful baits. It's razorbaits.com. You can buy them online. He takes PayPal, credit cards, all that good stuff. It's coming out of Boca Raton, Florida. So again, these are Jim is an engineer that designs these baits here in Florida for Florida waters. Now, I guarantee you they'll work just fine in North Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, We're just talking Florida here, and when you have a local that designs baits for these waters specifically, they work great. So get to his website, check it out, razorbaits.com, and just beautiful stuff. Scotty, I appreciate it, bud. Great video.
That North Carolina, that cast crawl, I got a lot of experience fishing North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Louisiana. Up in them states with that cast crawl, I would put a lot of weight in that boat with that cast crawl.
It's beautiful, and the color variety is awesome. So no matter what area you're in, if you like a specific color, there's a good chance that Jim's got it. So I mean, it's really a great bait. And again, check it out at the website, razorbaits.com. You can give him a call, 561-789-5490. And, just ask them about it. I'm sure he'll tell you anything you want to know about the bait. And, I've used it myself. Impressive. They work great. And it's nice to throw a plastic bait like this, these soft baits, that cast. I mean, it's actually, that cast crawl is a very heavy bait. So like you said, if you're using a number 6 hook and you cast that sucker out there, you're going to get, a good 50-yard cast out of that thing and not have to worry about putting a bunch of lead on there and ruining the action. I mean, they just really look nice and they work nice.
Yeah, it drops slowly too. I probably got the smallest wet bullet weight on it, and it is. They hit it on the fall, and then when I crawled on the rocks, and I really love to take that in North Carolina and South Carolina, especially up in when they got a lot of crawfish feedery.
Oh yeah,
they would just rip that bait up. I mean, because it's got so much scent and it's bulky.
Well, I tell you what, if we get together, and we're probably going to be somewhere around Mayaca up there in about a week or so, we're going to have a couple of cameras going, and we're going to do a show together up there. So it should be really cool. We're going to have these razor baits with us, and probably a couple other baits from other makers too. I know I'm going to, of course, bring something from Impact. I'll see if old Bill Daniels has something we could bring up there he has for freshwater. And we'll just have a good time, use a couple of different baits, do some video, and just make a great day of freshwater fishing.
All right, I can't wait. Vacation time, we get to play.
Sounds good to me. I'll have my rain gear ready, so come rain, hell, or high water, boy, we're going fishing.
Yeah, we're going fishing, Frank.
Hey, Scotty, that sounds great, bud. I'll let you get going. I know you're busy. I got to run, too. And, folks, stay tuned. We're going to have a great show from someplace around the middle of Florida. So we'll get back to you on that one.
Thanks, Frank.
Hey, Scotty, we'll talk to you later, bud. Have a great day. Be safe out there.
All right, man, let me go because, I hope these people ain't out of gas.
I know it. Take it easy, bud.
Right,
bye-bye.
All right, bye.